Okay, so let's continue on and just look at, so just continuing on from the last video, what we're doing here is we're looking at another question in relation to this area. Okay, so the question that we have is, I will just read the question first. I think of a number, multiply it by 8, and then subtract 2. I get the same result as when I multiply the number by 2 and add 10. What is the number? So again, the first thing you do is you let x be equal to the number. So x is your number, okay? Then what you do is you write everything else in terms of x. So x is going to be your number. So then what you're doing is you're writing everything else in terms of x. So let's write everything in terms of x. So I think of a number, so the number is x, multiply it by 8 and then subtract 2. So if my number is x and if I multiply it by 8, that's going to be 8x and then subtract 2, so minus 2. Okay, so that's the first expression that we have here. Okay. Okay, bear with me now. So that's the first expression that we have here. I get the same result as when I multiply this number by 2 and add 10. So what we're saying is that this here is going to be equal to, they get the same result when they multiply the number by 2, so that's going to be 2x, and then add 10 plus 10. Okay, so now what we've done is write everything else in terms of x. So that's what we've done here. We've written everything out in terms of x. So we've this part done and this part done. Then what we do is we write out our equations. So we've written out our equations. And then the last part then is we want to solve for x. Okay, so let's work our way through this. So what we want to do is, remember, we want to get the x's over on the left hand side and we want to get the number over on the right hand side. So what do we do? So we start looking at trying to get all of the x's onto one side. So we see here that we have plus 2x here on this side. What we want to do is we want to get it over here to this side. So what we have to do is we have to, if we have 2x here, we can minus, so this is plus 2x, so we can minus 2x. If we minus 2x from it, that's going to get rid of the 2x from here, but then we have to, if we minus 2x from one side, we have to minus 2x from this side as well to keep it balanced. So what's going to happen is these two guys will cancel out. So 8x minus 2x is going to leave you with 6x minus 2 is equal to 10. Okay, so we've just brought down these numbers, and we've subtracted these two numbers here. So that's what it gets rid of. It gets rid of this 2x here. So again, what we've done is we've brought all the x's over to one side. So now we can see that we have the x's over on the left hand side of our equation here. So the next thing we want to do is we want to start getting rid of the numbers around x, starting with the numbers furthest away. So what we have here is we have minus 2. Now if we want to get rid of minus 2 and turn it to 0, we have to plus 2. So remember, if we minus 2 and we add 2, that will bring it to 0. So these two, and then if we add 2 on this side, we have to add 2 on this side as well. So what's going to happen is minus 2 plus 2, they will cancel out. So a way to kind of think about that is if I have a number line like this, and let's say I'm starting at 0, and on the left hand side we have our negative integers, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, for example, and on the right hand side we have our positive integers, 1, 2, and 3. Now let's say with this we're starting off on minus 2, so I'm starting here on our number line, and then I'm adding 2. So if when we're adding, we're moving to the right on the number line, when we're subtracting, we're moving to the left on the number line. So what's going to happen is we're going to go 1, 2, and we're going to end up here on 0. Okay, and that's what happens here. You cancel minus 2 and plus 2, they cancel each other out. So what we end up then with is so we have 6x, so we just, okay, bear with me now. So 6x, So we've just brought down the 6x. These guys cancel out, so there's nothing to bring down, is equal to 10 plus 2, which is equal to 12. Now remember again, so this is 6x, so this means 6 multiplied by x. So the opposite of multiplication is division. Just like here, we had minus 2x, the opposite of minus is addition, the operation. Okay, so just always kind of bear that in mind. So we can see here that this means 6 multiplied by x, and we want to get rid of the number 6. So if the operation that's at play is multiplication, which it is here, what we have to do is we have to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we know we have to divide this by something. So what do we have to divide 6 by in order to turn it to turn it to a 1? We have to divide it by 6. And if we divide the left hand side by 6, we have to divide the right hand side by 6. So what's going to happen then is 6 will go in there once, 6 will go in there once, and x is going to be equal to 12 divided by 6, x is equal to 2. And that's your answer there. Okay, so hopefully, so that's that's 2 of them now that I've gone through. So your number then is x. So that's the last step. So this is your answer. X is equal, the number is equal to 2. So again, that's writing and solving. So writing and solving equations. And I just noticed that I put 2 T's in writing. There should only be 1. Okay, but okay, so that's what we mean by writing and solving equations. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully the video was helpful. Okay, thank you.